Hey, this is Dr. Rob Zimbrowski. In this video, I'll explain how the coronavirus can be a threat to your health, and I will share with you 3 steps you can take to activate your personal antiviral defense system to fight against this new virus and other viruses you may get exposed to. The news media is creating global fear surrounding the current coronavirus. There is also an incredible amount of confusion regarding what we're being told about this pandemic and the virus. Stores are sold out of their face masks, hand sanitizers, and toilet paper. Our local Costco and Whole Foods sold out of most of their meat. Pastas, breads, and canned goods are sold out everywhere. Liquor stores have sold out of their high-proof alcohol to bootleggers making their own hand sanitizer. And sadly, young boys got their hands burned from makeshift hand sanitizer they bought from a local 7-Eleven in New Jersey. And if there is any good news in all of this, as of today, March 21st, according to Johns Hopkins, out of the 297,000 people confirmed with this virus, 91,540 people have recovered. Many people are recovering from this infection. For more good news, according to a spokesman from the World Health Organization, 80% of people who get infected with the new coronavirus, COVID-19, will have mild symptoms, and again, tens of thousands of people have already recovered from it. Now, according to the CDC, info out of their Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, the first preliminary description of outcomes among patients with COVID-19 in the U.S. indicates that fatality was highest in persons aged 85 and older, ranging from 10% to 20%, 27%, followed by 3% to 11% fatality among persons aged 65 to 84 years old, 1% to 3% fatality among persons aged 55 to 64 years old, less than 1% fatality among persons aged 20 to 54 years old, and no fatalities among persons younger than 19 years old. Look, for those that died from the virus and from the complications it caused inside the body, we know nothing about the health of the individuals that died. And so, were these individuals obese, diabetic, immunosuppressed? Were they on medications that can cause poor health? What were their diets like? Did they have genetic mutations that can cause an overactive immune response? Did these people have multiple infections on top of COVID-19? And for now, the majority, the virus will cause no ill health. And for others, it can be fatal, and potentially fatal for those with underlying health issues and compromised health. Now, should you be mindful and cautious? For sure, but don't panic, because panic causes irrational behaviors. I also think it's sad that the only advice being offered to individuals is to wash your hands and stay away from sick people. Yes, social distancing is a good thing with an infectious pandemic, but there must be something more we can do for ourselves besides flattening the curve and the spread of this virus, and to support ourselves personally to stay strong if we get exposed to it. Look, while the COVID-19 story is still unfolding and scientists are still learning about the virus and its behaviors, we know one thing. We have a built-in antiviral defense system in our bodies to protect ourselves and fight against viral infections, including COVID-19, the flu, and other viruses. So I want to provide you with some solid information about what you can do to support your immune response during this time. To win the war on the new coronavirus, you need knowledge and a game plan to prevent getting sick if you're exposed to the virus. But what is the new virus? COVID-19 is a coronavirus, named coronavirus because of the crown-like spikes on its surface. And it's these spikes crowning the virus that allows the virus to attach, fuse, and gain entry into our cells, which ultimately causes the infection. And like the more serious coronaviruses, MERS and SARS, COVID-19 affects the respiratory system, causing symptoms like coughing, fever, shortness of breath. And for those with compromised health, it can cause acute respiratory distress syndrome, which is the real threat caused by this virus. So what is acute respiratory distress syndrome? Acute respiratory distress syndrome is a condition deep in the lungs where the infection causes an immune reaction, and swelling, where the exchange of oxygen happens between the lungs and the bloodstream. As we breathe, air is pulled through the windpipe, the trachea, and into the branching passageways of the lungs, the bronchi, filling thousands of tiny air sacs, the alveoli, at the ends of the bronchi. Now, these sacs, which resemble small bundles of grapes, are surrounded by small blood vessels, the capillaries. Oxygen passes through the thin membranes of the alveoli and into the capillaries and into the bloodstream. The red blood cells pick up this oxygen and carry it to the body's organs and tissues. Now, here's the danger COVID-19 presents, as this virus gets deep into the lungs and alveoli, causing inflammation, swelling, and a buildup of fluids that happens as a consequence of the infection and immune response. With the swelling and the fluid buildup, the fluid permeates into the alveoli, preventing the exchange of oxygen from the alveoli into the blood. This is called hypoxia, a lack of oxygen to the body, which is life-threatening. So, COVID-19 can cause acute respiratory distress syndrome and hypoxia, forcing some people to be put on ventilators until the immune system gets rid of the infection and the swelling resolves. So, who's at risk for serious complications from the coronavirus? Many viruses like COVID-19 pose a serious threat to our health when we have compromised health. And with age, the immune system is not as strong and responsive as it was in the past. And with age, you may have a pre-existing health issue that puts you at a greater risk for infection and developing acute respiratory distress. The reality is this: many viruses have the potential to be contagious and also have the potential to be dangerous if you have poor health or you can't fight off infection. The good news is we have more control over this virus, COVID-19, than the news media is leading you to believe. Now look, I'm not minimizing the potential threat the virus has on our health and for those who have compromised health. However, we need to take the right actions to protect ourselves. And yes, wash your hands, don't put your fingers in your nose and your ears and your mouth. Cover your mouth and your nose when you cough or sneeze, and certainly disinfect the objects that you touch. In addition to reducing your exposure to this virus, you can and must supercharge your immune system and allow it to do its job, killing viruses that you get exposed to. Within our immune system, there are white blood cells called natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. Their job is to kill viruses and cells infected by viruses. Natural killer cells rapidly recognize cells infected by viruses, engulf them, and directly kill them. Cytotoxic T cells kill infected cells by punching holes in the infected cells, injecting them with enzymes, ultimately killing the cell infected by a virus. In order to fight infections and to fight off COVID-19, you must prevent injuring these white blood cells, and you must make them work more efficiently. Think about it. Thousands of people have recovered from COVID-19 because those individuals have strong immune systems. In order to prevent getting sick with the coronavirus, you must support your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. And if you don't think this is a responsible action to consider and take, companies are developing natural killer cells as a therapy to fight COVID-19. According to CBS News, a New Jersey company has developed a source of natural killer cells from human placentas. Scientists know the key to fighting viral infections is to activate and increase the number of natural killer cells in the body. Now, I just found some incredible research on the effects COVID-19 is having on our natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells that was just posted this month. Researchers found the coronavirus COVID-19 caused a significant reduction in natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. They state the virus caused a functional exhaustion of these virus-killing cells. The researchers state these results suggest the functional exhaustion of cytotoxic lymphocytes, white blood cells, in COVID-19 patients, and hence COVID-19 may break down antiviral immunity at an early stage, and functional exhaustion of these cytotoxic white blood cells at the early stage may result in disease progression. They also state this data highlights the importance of improving the immune response of natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells and avoiding exhaustion of these cells at the early stage of the COVID-19 infection. Now, according to the news media, a vaccine for COVID-19 won't be available for a year or more, and by then the virus will have made many more people sick. So, if there's no pharmaceutical-based vaccine, and thousands of people have already recovered from this virus, it's logical to think that we can defend ourselves against this virus and others by activating our antiviral defense system, your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. And now there are 3 steps you can take to activate your antiviral defense system. The first step in activating your antiviral defense system is to stop injuring your natural killer cells and your cytotoxic T cells. You basically injure the immune system from stress and the foods you eat. And your stressors and your fear cause the release of the hormone cortisol. Research shows elevated cortisol in the blood suppresses the function of your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. Your fear surrounding the current virus is actually suppressing your immune system, making you more prone to getting infected and developing symptoms. You must also eliminate all white refined sugar and white refined baked goods, as white sugar or sucrose can reduce the function of the immune system. Eliminate all energy drinks and sodas loaded with white sugar, which is sucrose. Eliminate processed foods that contain refined sugars and get rid of refined white flour and baked goods like muffins, donuts, cakes, pies, breads, and cookies. Also eliminate foods containing gluten and dairy products. These food sources can cause immune dysfunction, and dairy products can increase mucus production in our airways, causing more problems with our respiratory system. The second action to take to activate your antiviral defense system is to eat foods that support and enhance your immune response to viruses, which include mushrooms like white button mushrooms, cremini, portobello, porcini, and shiitake mushrooms. These mushrooms contain compounds called beta-glucans, which increase the function of the immune response and your natural killer cells and T cells. Citrus fruits, orange, clementine, lime, lemon, and grapefruit. Oh, and if you're on any medications, it's best to stay away from grapefruit, as grapefruit contains a compound that makes drugs ineffective or toxic. Broccoli, garlic, fatty fish like salmon, herring, and sardines, which are all high in vitamin D. Vitamin D is needed for proper immune function. Ginger, spinach, turmeric, green tea, and let's not forget chicken soup. And now the third action to take, and the most important action to take to activate your antiviral defense system, your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells, are research-based nutraceuticals. So let's talk vitamin C. Vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, is an essential nutrient needed to support cytotoxic T cells. And since vitamin C is an essential nutrient, you don't make it in the body, and therefore it must come from your diet or through supplementation. Vitamin C, to fight infection, is best taken roughly 8 to 24 hours before getting on a plane or jumping into big groups of people, or getting on a subway, where you increase your risk of exposure to viruses. And the reason to take vitamin C 8 to 24 hours before a potential exposure is after that period of time, vitamin C causes a 200 to 400% enhancement of natural killer cell activity. Did I mention 200 to 400% improved natural killer cell activity? Vitamin C is a must to fight infection. Let's talk vitamin D. Research has found that vitamin D is crucial to turn on your immune defenses and your cytotoxic T cells. A lack of vitamin D will cause these T cells to fail to react to and fight infection. Research also found that T cells search for vitamin D in order to activate themselves, and without vitamin D, T cells will not complete the activation process of fighting infection. Vitamin D is very important to fight viral infections. The third nutrient, pycnogenol, a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory that comes from the French maritime pine bark, has been shown to restore proper immune function where it increased white blood cell proliferation, and it helped regulate the way white blood cells communicate with one another. Pycnogenol was also found to reduce airway inflammation if you have an upper respiratory infection, and pycnogenol was found to reduce viral replication, which is the formation of viruses during an infection. And now the fourth recommended nutrient or group of nutrients are mushroom extracts. Mushroom extracts including chaga, maitake, reishi, shiitake, turkey tail, oyster, cordyceps are hands down some of the most powerful nutrients to support and supercharge the immune system. Mushroom extracts found in research-based supplement products contain a simple carbohydrate called beta-glucans. Beta-glucans have been shown to enhance natural killer cell activity and T cells, making those white blood cells more efficient at killing viruses and cancer cells. Mushroom extracts containing beta-glucans also increase the number of natural killer cells in the blood. Basically, beta-glucans increase the number of soldiers to fight in the battle of viral infections. So to really support and stimulate your immune system in its response to COVID-19 or other viruses and pathogens, here's my dosage recommendation for the nutrients I just mentioned. Regarding these supplements, I recommend taking 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. That can be 1,000 milligrams spaced throughout the day with food, or 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. In the links below, you're given the option to take vitamin C as a tablet or as a powder. Now, the isotonic powder supplement has 500 milligrams of vitamin C per serving. So if you choose the powdered vitamin C, you would take 2 servings of this vitamin C 3 times during the day. And if you choose the tablet, you would take 3 tablets a day. Now, regarding the powdered supplements, they are mixed with water and then taken before meals. Vitamin D. I suggest taking 10,000 international units of vitamin D a day. And perhaps you take 5,000 in the morning and 5,000 at night. You also have the choice of a small pearl or powder. Now, OPC3 with pycnogenol is another isotonic or powdered-based supplement. I recommend 1 serving 3 times a day. And for the mushroom extracts I mentioned, I recommend a research-based product that contains mushroom extracts, beta-glucans, and other immune supportive nutrients like zinc and selenium. The product I recommend is Immucor. I recommend 2 tablets of Immucor a day. And while these supplements can be taken daily, perhaps you take these nutrients until the threat of the coronavirus has passed. During times of crisis, charlatans and scammers will prey on public fear in order to profit from the fear. And I don't blame YouTube, the FDA, and other regulatory groups scanning for and taking down misleading and fake information on this virus and potential cures. For one, I'm not saying the recommendations in this video treat the coronavirus. I'm not making false claims and selling sham nutrients. I'm sharing with you what I know to work based on my clinical experience. I'm making recommendations that are backed by research, and they have been shown to improve the function of your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. The nutrients I suggest are also all natural products or nutrients you can get anywhere, anytime. The nutrients are also found in our foods if you decide to increase consumption of the foods I mentioned. Now look, not all supplements are created equal. However, I can speak about the efficacy and quality of the nutrients I recommend, as I have used them clinically in my office to rebuild countless people from their health issues. Just know if you are shopping for these nutrients in other places, not all supplements are created equal. And not all the supplements have research behind their products and their ingredients. So if you go out and you find different nutrients, do your homework and make sure the products you get have research behind the ingredients and the claims they make. And if you choose to get the nutrients I use in my clinic, I am including links below to save you time finding these specialized nutraceuticals. And now here's the summary to activating your antiviral defense system. To fight this virus and other viruses you get exposed to, number 1, stop injuring your immune system, get rid of white refined sugars and flours, change your perception of your stressors to minimize the flood of cortisol in your blood. That means changing your perception of this pandemic. Number 2, eat foods that support the immune response. Number 3, and most importantly, take research-based nutraceuticals that support and enhance the function of your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells. I hope this information was helpful, and I encourage you to be responsible, take precaution, and whatever you do, don't panic in your efforts to prevent infection. We all have more control over this virus than the media is leading us to believe. The most powerful action you can take is to rebuild your immune system. And if you're struggling with a chronic, unresolved health issue, dealing with a serious disease, or you want to lose toxic fat and get lean, or you just want to learn more about supercharging your immune system, please get yourself a copy of my book, Rebuild, which is your personal roadmap back to excellent health. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, a diagnosis is not a destiny.